Good afternoon. We'd like to welcome you to the May meeting of the Pitt County Department of Social Services. I'd like to welcome those who are viewing today by television and those who are with us today. Thank you for coming. Hello to our management team and other board members. Thanks for being here today for this meeting. We'd like to begin our meeting, as we always do, with a call to order and also with a moment of silent prayer or silent meditation, please. Thank you. You have in your packet today a copy of the agenda. I'd like to ask if there are any revisions to this agenda, please.
Move the approval of the agenda as mailed, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion to approve.
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, we've adopted this agenda. You also have in your packet previously distributed a copy of the minutes from the previous meeting. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept those minutes, please.
Offer a motion to accept minutes as presented.
All right, may I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This time, Mr. Perry, as always, give us an update on our agency personnel and the status of our recruitment of individuals to help us deliver the services.
At the present time, all of our positions are frozen in the Department of Social Services, except the social worker IAT, which we have re-advertised for, and we have the social worker 2 and adult services that we have advertised. The remainder of the positions are frozen. We do have between July and September, we will have a total of 11 individuals that will be retiring from the Pitt County Department of Social Services. We have 9 that will retire in July and 2 that will retire in September. So we're looking at roughly 30 positions that will be vacant within the Department of Social Services during that time period.
Mr. Perry, remind us, what is our total workforce complement?
Our total workforce is 234.
So you have more than 10% vacancies as of July.
Projected.
With these people that are leaving, what kinds of things are we looking to do to fill those positions or cover their responsibilities?
What will happen, we will meet with the commissioners on May the 23rd, present our budget. At the present time, it looks like the majority of those positions will be still in our budget July the 1st. So we're hoping that once everything is finalized, that we'll be able to begin to advertise for those positions and get them filled. Now, that would depend a lot upon whether we go with a 2.5% reduction or what, but we're looking at being able to move forward with those positions. If we are not able to fill any of those positions, then we will be in a crisis mode, because we have 3 of those positions that would be in our administrative unit, which is responsible for operating our switchboard and the front desk in this building. So that would just leave 1 person there to take over that responsibility. And we are down to the minimum amount of staff in all those positions. If we're not able to move forward in our food and nutrition service unit, then that would create a new problem, because we're looking at NC Fast starting in July the 1st, which we'll be talking about a little bit about doing the training and moving forward with that project. And we will have to look at some things that we need to do to make that transition successful. Then we have adult Medicaid and family and children Medicaid, where the caseloads are continually going up. So hopefully, when we meet with the county manager and do our presentation to the commissioners on May the 23rd at 8:30, feel free to come. We'll have a general idea of what we're looking at. But at the present time, we're only looking at 3 positions that we'll have to give up to balance our budget. So that was.
When you balance the budget that way, so the position and the number of FTEs or positions, is it dependent upon the salary requirements of that job, or is it just a number of FTEs that
it's dependent upon what amount of money that we're looking at, that we need to meet our fund balance for the county.
These people that retiring early, when you replace them, the Pitt replacement won't get as much money.
They will not get the same salary, plus they will not, in the long run, get longevity or sick leave payback. So there's some cost savings on that.
That's what.
And when they come in, they'll be at a lower salary.
Right, you don't know what cost and how that would affect the number.
No.
In other words, instead of, we probably get 8 for what we're paying, 10 for what we're paying 8 for now. Would you say in that category?
Probably because we'd be at the beginning salary as opposed to the higher salary where we
That's
have
what we're hoping
individuals
to.
that've been here 20, 30 years and their salary has
Yeah.
increased over the years. So these will be entry-level salaries, and it would depend upon whether or not the commissioners give salary increases throughout the year. If not, then they'll be locked into that beginning salary.
I guess one thing I was looking at, what is the average length of service that the people that are retiring have?
The average length of service anywhere from 25 to 30 years. So we have individuals that have spent their majority of their career at Pitt County Department of Social Service. So that says something about the county and the agency, that we have stable staff that do not move around a lot from one county or one agency to another.
Mr. Mayor.
You used the term earlier, crisis, and we talked about in the administrative unit. It seemed to me the crisis might well be in your experienced people, because they would have not only been your planners, but your monitors and things like that. So I would assume that is going to require quite a plan when a person with 25 years experience leaves. That's a whole different world, I would think.
It is a whole new world, because you end up with individuals that you have to train, and then you have to be able to second part of the review to make sure that the work is done correctly. So it's a whole new ball game, unless we are able to get qualified individuals from other counties, which we have in the past. But at the present time, we do not have anything to offer anyone that would want to come from a surrounding county to Pitt County. So that's the problem. That's one of the problems that we're looking at as well.
Unless they live in Pitt County.
Unless they live in Pitt County.
When you say anything to offer, the salaries, I would assume, based on position and based on experience, would be pretty much the same from county to county, would it, or
No.
would it not?
The salaries are determined by the county commissioner. So our salaries are generally higher than some of the smaller counties. So it's not uniform as what each county pays. So in the past, our salaries were higher than the surrounding counties. Plus, when we had looked at sick leave payback, longevity, as well as when we had the built-in step increases, those were incentives that we could use to entice people to come to work at Pitt County.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that explanation.
Okay, any other questions around agency personnel matters? I had one. Remind me, we do an employee, sort of a employee opinion survey at some point during the course of the year?
We have not done one recently, but we can do, it's a 360 survey.
All right, and do we have an intact exit interview process?
Yes, we do.
And who reviews the, who's the?
I
sort of-
meet with workers leaving, as well as the county meet with employees, as human resources meet with employees when they leave, and so they have a 2 exit conference.
Okay. All right, so we have a system in place to ensure we understand why we have entry and exits and all those kind of things. And I guess the good news here is that so much of this is retirement-based.
Right.
The assumption being that we've had longevity of folks, and folks have enjoyed their
Right.
work here with the department, which is a good thing. Nevertheless, it underscores some of our previous conversations about the need for succession planning programs.
And you look at, we have promotions with in-house, and unfortunately, if you promote someone in-house and then that position get frozen, but we try to, if you got good staff, you want the staff
Right.
to stay here, and you want them to feel comfortable that they will get promoted. But it does create another vacuum, because once you promote, then you know that position will be frozen.
Right.
And then so you end up
Right.
not making any headway.
Okay. And we have previously spoken to, so I won't go into detail about it, but the desire of the board is to have prospective scenarios that look at 2%, 3%, 5% downturn plans. And I think that they would all be addressed, this would all be addressed in such a plan. So appreciate the work of the team in doing that. So, all right, we have several matters which require a board action today, and they are budget amendments. But I think, actually, we have a resolution first, and Mr. Perry, if you present that, please.
I wish Ms. Perkins were here. She serves on the North Carolina Association of County Boards of Social Services. And there is a Senate Bill 433 that's still out there, which deals with local human services and the consolidation of local services between the Health Department and the Department of Social Services. This is a resolution in opposition to that Senate Bill 433. And it lists the reasons why, and I put that information, program, position regarding SB 433, Local Human Services Administration. You're looking at what, and we have a state-operated system, and we're county-operated but state-supervised. And we have a lot of the work that we do in Child Protective Services requires staff to be able to make those decisions independent without having to worry about the repercussions. We are not a small county, where if you were in a small county, some people know everyone. So it puts the director in an awkward position if you are supervised by the county board, county commissioners, and you have a situation that you need to deal with. So basically, it is saying that the Department of Social Services, the Health Department, need to be able to function in the capacity that they are currently functioning with a Social Services Board appointed by the commissioners as well as Social Services Commission, and then one person elected by this board. There's only 2 counties in the state that have a human services component. Wake County has one, and Mecklenburg County, and both of them are set up entirely different. Wake County Board consists of about 25 individuals, and Mecklenburg is supervised by the county commissioners. So this bill will do away with that, and it will allow any county, if they choose to set up a consolidate their services. And with the consolidation, then that would put the Health and Human Services and Health Department under the county manager, with the county manager being the one that would be making the decision as to the appointment of the director and supervision of that position. So we felt, and the Social Services Board, the Directors Association, and the Association of County Employees felt that this was not the best route to take at this time with the way the bill was written. So the Association of County Boards of Social Services asked their boards to complete this resolution if you are in favor of it, and then send it to our representatives to let them know how we stand on this issue.
Okay. You have before you a resolution, and I guess there would be two ways of handling this. When is the deadline to return these?
There's not a deadline. They're just trying to get it in. Okay. Some counties have already submitted it, and we only meet once a month, so most of the boards are doing it when they have their regular board meetings.
So
we got a question.
We have a resolution for us, and we can handle this in a couple of ways. One, I think we should ask questions while we have the motion on the table or whatever. I think that we should have a question-answer session, but if we need to table the issue to have time to revisit it and vote at the next meeting, we could do that as well. But at this time, let's entertain any questions around the resolution. Mr. Mayo.
I could imagine that when the groups, and when you mentioned who opposed it, I guess what brings this up to the legislature, it evidently could be done if 2 counties have already done it. So something is bringing it as some senator or something is bringing it as a bill before the legislature to make it all the way across.
Some senator from a county might be talking to their board, and they might see it as a good idea. If you have problems within a county and you have no control, which I look at it, commissioners, they control the funding source. In some regards, they control how many staff you have in your agency. So they do already have some control over the social services operation. But what this does is remove this board. And what will happen, the commissioners will become the Board of Social Services, or they could elect to do a 25-member board where you have someone from the public sector, some from physicians, then you have clients that receive service. So you end up with a whole different arena. And this board, this bill has been around for a while, and it has always been defeated. But at this point in time, it's keep getting momentum.
Do we know
So are there
how?
other questions about the bill?
Part of my question, is that do we also know how our or the position of any commissioner is on it? And Eugene, I'm not asking you to speak for all of them, I know you can't, but have we had that level of communication?
I have not had any contact with the commissioners. The commissioner organization is in opposition to this bill.
All right, if we vote to approve this, we will be doing away with this board.
No.
No, it's the opposite.
The opposite.
If we vote to, if we were to accept this resolution and submit this, what we would be saying is that this board is in favor of retaining a board to govern the social services department in Pitt County, as opposed to allowing that to just be a function of the county commissioner's office.
But I think we need to keep this board. Don't need it. The county commission got more on that plate than they don't want. I don't think they would want this. I think the way that this board is. So the motion that I don't mind.
Well, let's make sure we have no other questions.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when I was in Hickory and I talked to some of the people that are in those 2 counties, the thing they talked about was the slow pace of which things were done. The fact that a lot of the information that was needed, they didn't have because of the composition of the board, and a lot of other things in terms of the number of people and the fact that the lack of understanding of things, and again the time. That was a very big issue for everybody I talked to. I think I talked to one commissioner, and he was not happy with it either.
This is a challenging issue for us to deal with in any way except in favor of such a resolution, and largely because we believe, by nature of serving on the board, we want to protect the integrity of social services function. That's why we're all here. And recognizing that we want to make sure that the community's interests are protected, those in need, those without the means to care for themselves. It would be very hard to advocate that responsibility to another group challenged with economic pressures to balance budgets and those sort of things, although we all have to participate in the community resource allocation. So I realize it would be very hard not to support a resolution that maintains the integrity of the structure we are all here to serve under. So I wanted to make sure today, as we put this forward, that you have time to understand what it is we are dealing with, what is Senate Bill 433, and then if we're comfortable proceeding with a vote to accept the resolution and submit it, then we could do so today, or we could table the issue to give you time to ask other questions or follow up at the next board meeting.
Well, I make a motion that we vote on it today.
Okay. Have a second?
Second.
All right.
I think we need to go ahead.
Have a motion to approve resolution regarding Senate Bill 433.
All right, now, what we're gonna stay like, we're saying stay like we are.
That's correct.
That's what I do, because the county
We are-
commissioners,
We are,
25 people on a committee, and oh my goodness, what you talking about, it'd be terrible.
what we are reading is a resolution that concludes with, now therefore be it resolved that Senate Bill 433 be sent back to committee and amendments made to require a Social Services Board or a Consolidated Human Services Board of local citizens that serve as a politically neutral entity by providing a buffer for political influence, interference, and patronage with governing authority at the local Human Services Department and appointing authority of the Human Services Director, meaning maintain the integrity of the Department of Services
Like it is
Board.
now.
All right, we have that motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah,
All right, have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it, so.
Just need you to sign it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, we have also a recommendation and awarding of the in-home services contract, and I believe Ms. Burns will present that.
Okay. For the upcoming 2012-2013 in-home aid contract year, 5 bids were submitted for consideration this year. The bid packets were from Action Health Staffing, Addis Home Care, Interim Health Care, Health Pro, and McLeod and Associates Incorporated. Site visits were made to all 5 companies by a DSS team that included myself, Paula Meekins, who is the Adult Services Case Planning, Case Management Supervisor, Victor Banfield, and Gail Haddock, who are in-home services case managers. We visited all 5 sites the week of April the 30th through May the 4th. And after visiting all sites and interviewing each company, we also checked the references for each company. Action Health Staffing presented a bid of $12.47. Addis Healthcare presented a bid of $12.35. Interim Healthcare bidded $13. Health Pro bid at $10.80, and McLeod and Associates bid $13.80 an hour. We felt like all of these companies could provide the services that we were looking for, but after careful consideration, we are recommending that the 2012-2013 contract for in-home services be awarded to Addis Healthcare. Addis Healthcare is the current in-home provider for Pitt County. They are currently serving 53 clients at the rate of $12 per hour. We've done surveys with this company, one in November of 2011 and one in March of 2012, and there were favorable results with each one of these surveys that we did. No issues were presented that could not be addressed immediately by Addis Healthcare. We also had an audit with the state that was conducted on February the 13th, 2012, and there were no deficits found at all with this audit. Addis Healthcare also has a registered nurse available that provides oversight for the aides and conduct initial and quarterly interviews with all clients. And Addis Healthcare also will allow us, if we continue with them, to provide continuity of care to our 53 clients that they are currently serving.
All right, so the recommendation is for Addis, which is our current vendor, and we have reviewed in times past this year results of patient or client satisfaction surveys from the team, and now have a recommendation from the management team in this regard. Are there any questions about this?
Yes, what was wrong with the $10 one? Why did you turn them down? I always like
Yes, sir.
bidding
Health Pro is a small company. They have 16 to 17 clients. They were licensed in 2010, and they started serving clients in June of 2011. Their background is predominantly working with children and providing mental health services to children. And currently they have 12 to 13 employees working for them. And currently they do not provide in-home services to any county Department of Social Services.
So a few years from now, they might be up there to
Yes, sir.
compete with these.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Mr. Mayor?
I think Eugene asked my question for
Okay.
me. One thing, if I understand the decision is not only good performance, but adequately staffed so there would not be new areas for a company to go into, and they are staffed to maintain the load. It would not be trying to bring new staff, train them. So that's part of the decision
Yes, sir.
factors of
They are-
going where we are.
They are currently comfortably serving our 53 clients.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions regarding this?
Oh, yeah, one thing. Adatus, they're the only one that has an in-home nurse, that has a nurse on their
No.
staff?
No, all the companies have a nurse that is able to go into the home and assess the clients.
Okay. And when you're saying, at the bottom line, whatever number of clients at 100% efficiency, that means that all the clients would be served getting the correct number of hours
Yes, sir.
that we had suggested? Okay.
Okay. We have a motion from management team to accept this, a request of management team to accept this awarding of the in-home services contract to Addis. May I have a motion?
Oh, you want us to make I
motion?
move that we follow the recommendation
All
of
right.
management.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you very much. We also have on our agenda today several budget amendments, and Ms. Quinn, you'll be presenting those?
Yes, sir.
We can do these all as one motion, correct?
Yes, sir. We received one authorization for $8,000 from Greenville Utilities. Then we had another donation of $17,000 from Greenville Utilities, and those funds will be used for heating needs for Pitt County citizens. And then we also received $30,426 increase in our daycare program. None of these have any county dollars in it.
Okay. Any questions around the budget amendments?
I move to approve of the budget amendments presented, Mr.
Have a motion to approve, second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried.
I do have one, not about this, but one question. At one time, there are some other electrical companies that serve citizens in our county, and I believe about a year or so ago, that question came up. Do we receive anything from
Yes.
them?
Yes, sir, we did. We received $10,000 from the town of Ayden,
Okay.
and they indicated they'd be sending others as they got it, but right now we have $10,000.
About Farmville and those.
Well, that comes from the state. We've always gotten it. We get some from Progress Energy, but that comes from the state. I don't think Farmville has not sent us any. Only the town of Ayden is the only one out of the ones we attacked. We
We sent
contacted.
letters out to all the municipalities that have electrical company asking them for contribution, and Aiden is the only one that responded.
Wouldn't that be worth a personal visit, Mr. Perry, to those people and those? And, it seems that maybe now two, but are doing, and obviously they're not the size of GUC, but when one consistently does that, do they really have the choice for their citizenry of doing absolutely nothing or just not responding to a letter? So would it be worth maybe you scheduling a one-on-one visit with them?
Recognize in GUC's case, I think the funds come from where I, as a GUC customer, round up my bill.
Yeah.
It's not like the utility is making the donation out of their
Okay.
proceeds. They have a neighbor-to-neighbor option on your bill when you pay it. Just like this weekend, I was at a store and it says, would you like to round that up to $20 even? And those excess pennies will go to the Boys
Okay.
and Girls Club. That's how
Good
it works with
explanation.
GUC.
Good explanation.
So I think what Mr. Perry would be doing would be asking the municipals, would you consider a rounding up program?
There you go.
From your users that would benefit other users of the system?
Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
explanation. Any other questions? All right. We also have several reports to the board today, the first of which is going to be presented regarding Operation Support Your Child. Ms. Michelle McCorkle.
Good afternoon. The Child Support Enforcement Unit works to ensure that both parents are responsible for the financial support of their children to the best of their ability. The Child Support Enforcement Program provides services to the custodians of minor children, regardless of their income level. The services that we provide include location of non-custodial parents, establishment of paternity for children born out of wedlock, establishment of child support obligations, enforcement of court-ordered child support obligations, and automated data entry to coordinate distribution of child support payments. To serve the children each fiscal year, the state assigns federal incentive rate goals for each county. The categories are paternity establishment rate, percent of cases under order, current support collection rate, payment towards arrears, and total collections. In addition to reviewing the progress with our child support staff, this information is also shared with the Pitt County Sheriff's Office Child Support Civil Deputy Unit. As a result, the Civil Deputy Unit identifies areas of special emphasis for service of civil process papers throughout the year. As a final push for this fiscal year and a jump start for next fiscal year, the Pitt County Sheriff's Office Child Support Civil Deputy Unit will conduct Operation Support Your Child, May 17th through June 17th. Deputies from the entire Civil Process Unit will join forces and launch mass paper service for the county by region. This will include service of civil summons complaints, notices of foreign support registrations, orders to appear and show cause, and orders for commitment. We want to emphasize, as the deputies will when the papers are served, individuals are encouraged to contact our office at 902-1300 and/or come into our office in an attempt to resolve their child support matters. During Operation Support Your Child, local media will be utilized to advertise both the goal, successful service of as many civil process papers as possible, and the need, assist in establishment of court orders and collection of financial support for the children we serve. There will also be a media outlet to advertise some of the hard-to-locate individuals. A direct number will be listed for anyone who has information to share. Again, we encourage individuals to contact our office at 252-902-1300 and/or come into our office in an attempt to resolve their child support matter. And we applaud the Pitt County Sheriff's Office Child Support Civil Unit for their creativity in developing Operation Support Your Child and anticipate it will yield positive results for the children we serve. I will answer any questions or attempt to answer any questions that you may have, but again, Operation Support Your Child begins on May 17th, and the efforts will continue until June 17th.
Okay. Any questions? Michelle, thank you so much for that presentation. All right, next we also have a report from Ms. Daniels regarding Adoption Awareness Month, please.
Good afternoon. Excuse me, everyone, but it's actually foster care month.
Oh.
It seems like we were just here for adoption, and then we had our holiday cheer to roll around, and then we had March was our Social Work Appreciation Month, and last month, April, was Child Abuse Prevention Month. And now we're in May, and we have the May, which is Social Work Month. And it's actually where we're highlighting foster care, what it is, who it serves, and so forth. Our foster care month actually deals with our foster and adoptive parents, and we'd like to just tell them how special they are, because they are very special people and they play a very important role in the lives of the children that we have to serve and we have to place in their home. And one thing, we're always recruiting for foster parents and adoptive parents, because as long as we stay in this business, we're going to always have children that need services. So I would just like to throw out to the listening community and to you all that, you know, we still have our One Church, One Child program, and that's one of the things that we're trying to look at as far as one of our heavy recruitment tools, where we're asking, you know, people to apply to be foster and adoptive parents. And I'll say that we just finished up with the class on Saturday, so we're hoping to yield some foster and adoptive families from that. But if anyone has an interest in being a foster or adoptive parent, they are encouraged to please visit our website at www.pittcountync.gov, or just give us a call at the agency at 252-902-1110. And we also have a lot more to follow what I've just said, but if anyone has any questions of me, I will entertain them now. Okay, we have one of our adoptive, she actually, she and her family just experienced fostering and adoption, so she can tell you information from both sides. We have Miss Paula Lofton, and then we have other things after that.
Hello, thank you for having me today. I was just going to come up and talk about, we just finalized our adoption of 2 boys through the foster care system. We went through the MAP class about 2 years ago, so we've been foster parents for just over 2 years, and the adoption was just final on April the 24th of this year. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
What are some of the benefits to you as an adoptive parent?
Other than the fact that it's been 15 years since we've been trying to have kids, I'm very benefited to have these 2 boys. I'm very excited about the opportunity, but it also, we've found avenues to help bring other adoptive or foster parents into the program. We've had several friends of ours who have had similar situations, and 2 of them just graduated from the MAP class, so they'll become foster parents, and we have other friends of ours who have become adoptive parents in other counties as well.
I was thinking about in terms of how you feel and the joy that the children.
Well, now I'm gonna tell you, it was a very long process for me, because I'm very I need it now kind of person. I think I was pleasantly surprised about how professional everyone through Pitt County and the workers, they were very helpful. It's a very confusing time for the children, but I think over the last couple of years being with us, I think they have become very vital members of our community. They've become very excited about opportunities they are going to have that they might not have being in just foster care itself. I think it's very rewarding for me. I've always been involved in the community and in the schools. Not having children of my own, I found it exciting to be able to do that for the children that I have now.
Dr. Hamilton, she's being really quiet. Paula actually works in financial services with me, and it has been an interesting year for us all to watch the highs, the lows, and then the excitement that came through when it was official last 2 weeks ago.
We just had our adoption party Saturday, and I really could jump up and down and just be the biggest cheerleader in the world for this program.
Sounds good. You can do that.
Because I think even if I, it was a very long struggle for me to decide to adopt. I didn't know if it was something I would be able to do to rear someone else's children. But I can also tell you that there's not been a single person that hasn't seen a picture of my family that said, "Are you sure they're not yours?" Because I think a family is not always born to you, but given to you. And I tell them every day that I'm so blessed that they were able to choose me through this path, and that we were able to choose them. I think it's, I'm shaking right now. I'm not normally as reserved as I am right now. So I'm trying to, everybody in here knows me. So I'm very excited, and I want to say that the biggest hats off to Debbie Owen and Jennifer Fowler that work in the Social Services Department, because they were Johnny on the spot with everything that they were able to do for us, very supportive emotionally. But Melanie is right. There were a lot of highs and a lot of lows. It was what was classified as a legal risk adoption, and so I was very wary about that, because I don't ever go into anything not already knowing the result that's going to be at the end. And so
She's
when
an
you
accountant by nature.
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I am the staff accountant for Pitt County, so.
Numbers and when are we gonna
Numbers,
do
and
this?
that's what it is, and that's the rule, and you said that was the rule, so you have to do that, because that's what you said. But it is a challenge, and it's still going to be a challenge for some years to come, because they are not newborns. They are 3 and 5 years old, and getting ready to start school this year, and I think, and they're from another county, which is, a few hours away. So I think it's a lot to take in, a lot of adjustments. I'm used to doing a lot for other people, and now I guess it's coming home to me, because I will give you a little brief of example. I have lots of nieces and nephews, not biological, but by friends, who call me Aunt Paula. And for me to experience a little bit in return what I was able to give to them is very exciting, and I feel very privileged to have been a part of this through Pitt County, and I didn't ever think it would happen. So yes, I am very excited. And if anybody asks me to take another one, I'll say, give me a little bit of time.
I think Paul is a great advertisement for the
yeah.
program, that is for sure.
Sure.
Well, it is a very wonderful program. When I did the MAP class, I thought, I have to take 30 hours of parenting classes. I know how to, I've got 5 nieces and nephews that are biological and have had some form of rearing of them. And I thought, I can do this. Boys are different than girls, and I'm very excited, which is good for me, because I'm a tomboy by nature. So it's just very exciting. I just think it's very exciting, that the world that they're going to be exposed to, and great Pitt County residents.
As a parent of 3 of my own, I can tell you that I still don't know what to do with them most days. And it would probably be a lifetime course, a doctorate degree in parenting, before you'd ever start to think you knew what to do. So the rules change every day with children.
Well, I have always been one that has been in control of every situation.
And you no longer will.
I am no longer in control of my own life.
Well, Paula, thank you so much. Any other questions for Paula? I think the first thing I wanted to make sure you said was that the public could understand, why would you do this, and what's the benefit of doing this? And I think you summed it up, when there's such a personal reward knowing you're doing so much good for someone. And all of us realize we have brief lives, and at the end of the day, that we can invest those lives in someone else and make a difference for the future feels good to all of us. And this is a really
It's very
special way to
exciting
do
to
it.
see things that are coming to fruition through them. I'm kind of reliving my youth. I wish I could have done it when I was younger, but we'll take it when we can get it.
What a fantastic thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now get back to work. It's payroll week. I told her to get back to work.
We also have with us social worker Kelly Clay and social worker Nikki Mears, social work supervisor Susan Bullock, and social work supervisor Ann Weaver. So they're going to come in their own way and share something for Foster Care Month.
Good afternoon. Did you know that there are more than 400,000 American children that are currently in foster care? These children need safe and stable, loving environments until they can safely be reunified with their families or build a nurturing relationship with another adult. May is actually National Foster Care Month, which we're really excited about. And we just want to share that no matter how much time you have to give, you have the power to do something positive and change a lifetime for a child and a young person that's in care. Currently in Pitt County, we have 93 children that are in foster care. Part of our festivities this month include 2 foster care awareness walks. We did one this morning, and we have one scheduled for next Monday. And we also purchased our T-shirts, which we're wearing today, that support the national logo, which is Foster Care Change a Lifetime. Thank you for having us.
Thank you all for being here today, and thank you for what you're doing. Certainly appreciate you guys representing that and helping the public understand what a great thing this is.
Oh, we have a proclamation. May is Foster Care Month. Foster Care Month, May 2012. And we're just asking for each board member to sign off. This is a proclamation, whereas
So we are with this proclamation proclaiming May as Foster Care Month in Pitt County and urge all citizens to come forward and do something positive that will change a lifetime for a child and the youth that are in foster care. I'll happily sign this, and I'll send it down to the rest of my colleagues here. Mr. James?
All righty.
Okay. Ms. Daniels, anything else for your presentation today?
Give me
I think the group was going to show a short video that we have that was actually done by some of our foster parents and one of our actually 2 of our foster youth that have aged out. But I think they thought it might take too much time. It's short, but it's very interesting, and it's one of our recruitment tools. So if that's something that you all feel you have a few minutes to take advantage of.
We'll proceed. I don't know how I would tell you no at this point.
Well, I think because they thought it might take too much time, they didn't get it to.
Well, you worked us up, and now you're letting us down.
But if you would like to just continue on with the meeting, maybe we can go ahead and get it, and that can kind of be a culmination of the meeting. We can end on a high note because to me it is a very touching thing, and when you hear the very end of it, it might be that you need to be closing the cameras down because you might not want the viewing public to see just how emotional it can make you. So we'll just go.
Well, in that case, I'm glad we're not doing it because watching Charles Mayo cry is just, it is not on my bucket list, I will assure you.
So we'll just have it so that it can be the very end of things for today.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Daniels. And also, it may be a good idea, if we can, to have those kinds of things placed on the intranet site so that the public can go and see those videos, and I'm certain you'll make sure that that's there as well, and we can take a moment to see it in that way.
Access channel.
Okay, great. All right. Mr. Perry, you have a lot of difficulty, I'm sure, following all this wonderful work that they've done, but you are going to speak to us about the North Carolina Fast Readiness Plan.
Fast Readiness Plan. Beginning July the 9th through August the 3rd, our food and nutrition staff will be going through training for the implementation of NC Fast. And what this is the readiness plan that we have went over with the state staff to look at areas that we need to work on. And the ones with the dark circles are things that we need to work on. Looking at our vacancies, we currently have 6 vacancies in our food and nutrition services unit. And these positions are frozen, but hopefully when we do our budget, May the 22nd, 23rd, we will have some idea about these positions. What we will have to do in July is to go in and assign all the vacancies to caseworkers, so they will not show up as vacant caseloads. These cases will be distributed among the staff that we have available. What that means that these staff will have additional work to carry on, and it would be like a work queue that if there's reviews, applications, what will happen each day, the work queue will pop up and say, these are things that you need to be done on the cases. So we cannot have the cases sitting out there vacant. They have to be assigned to someone with a district number, so that district number would take on that responsibility. So we will be working on distributing those 6 vacant caseloads to staff, which will increase the amount of work that they will have to do. Also, this will require a lot of additional work, because when we go to NC Fast, that means that for all reviews, changes, applications coming in, this information will be processed into another system. So that means that the caseworker will have to go in, key all that information in again. So if there's a new client, you will have to go and put that client information in, their address, how many children that they have in the caseload, key all that information, and just like you're setting up a new case. So we know that it would be a hard process, because all the staff will be learning at the same time. But we still have those same mandates that we got to meet with processing our application within the 30-day time frame, or if they expedite within the 7 days. So we will have to go in and work on those areas. We have 2 of those vacant caseloads we have assigned to our lead workers, which means that the lead workers are no longer doing second party reviews, because they have taken on the responsibility of handling those 2 vacant caseloads. So this is just looking at things that we have to do. We're averaging probably 50 overdue research a month. So all these things will have to be caught up to make this system work correctly beginning August the 6th. So our staff and our supervisor will be working over to try to get all these things done, so that we can have a smooth transition as we move into this new process. One thing about this process is that once we get all the food and nutrition services information keyed in, when they get ready to roll out family and children Medicaid, adult Medicaid, the majority of that information would be already in the system, so it would not be a long process for those programs, because we have a lot of clients that receive Medicaid that receive food and nutrition service, so it would just be a matter of getting the information out of one system and putting it into another system. But for food and nutrition services, it would be a long process for them, because they would be the first one to begin to use this system to put the information in. So we just wanted to show you that this is a process that we'll be going through, and these are the steps that we will identify, and we'll be meeting regularly with the state staff to see how we're going. We have responsibility. The state staff has responsibility, and we will be training our staff the week of July the 9th through August the 3rd on how to use the system, how to put the information in. And there will be a week-long training session. So everyone will not go at the same time, but it will be different time. And we were fortunate enough to have our training session set up here in the Human Services building, so our staff would not have to travel to get training, so we were able to work at one of those training sites to be here.
All right, are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. One thing that I was asking about was the comment section. Now, that section will be kept current?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll have access to that. Is that correct?
Yes, as we update it.
As you update it?
Right.
Okay. Because that'll be a good way so that we can understand where we are, how the staffing patterns are proceeding with that. The other thing is, how will the retirement of those 11 people affect us?
The 11 people we have, I think six coming out of food and nutritional service, and probably 2 more, so we'll have 8 coming out of food and nutritional service. Those 8 people caseloads will be distributed among the staff that we have available. So it will not be showing up as any vacant caseload. That workload will be assigned to different workers, and those workers will be responsible for carrying those cases. So what we would do, go in about 4,200 cases. We would take those 4,200 cases, divide those cases up among the workers that we have, and they would take on those responsibilities for doing the reviews, the changes, and seeing the clients that come in those caseloads.
That's going to be a significant increase in their caseload.
Right.
Mr. Mayor.
I guess, not ask the question the wrong way, but we think we can comfortably do this, and it won't result in, yes, we got it assigned, and it may be queuing up and down on somebody's computer, but can they actually do it? Or do we expect a lot of overtime? Or do we, and I don't even know if that's possible, or do we expect a period in which we get behind in just another measure as opposed to this one?
We expect staff to have to work overtime. We expect that some of the cases probably will not be processed timely, but with this new system, the supervisor will have access to it, so they will know what each worker assignments are for each day, so they can go into the queue and see how much been accomplished and what needs to be accomplished, so they will have follow-up with the staff. But we realize that what we want the staff to be aware of and the community to be aware of is that this is a new change that we will be coming in effect, and there will be delays in getting the benefits because everyone be learning a new system and keying that information in.
If I understand correctly, also, I think to Mr. Mayo's point, on the other side, the technology may actually help the worker vacancy rate and cost reduction. Things are certain now and going forward. As I understand it, once you get familiar with this process, what this does do is avoid the potential for someone to fall through the cracks unknowingly, because there's actually a systematic database concurrently being updated that a supervisor or a manager would be able to know that someone's actually falling behind, whereas today that process is much more manual, and it actually would be possible for something to sit on someone's desk and go unnoticed, if I understand the system correctly. So this may actually be a short-term kind of issue, but result in a better process, even if there are worker vacancies
down the road.
future.
It will be a better process. The process at the present time will be labor intensive because all that information got to be keyed into the system. But once everything is keyed into the system, then on the other end it will be easier to do the reviews, the research, because the system will be set up to make all those calculations to let you know whether or not you.
And this is a requirement, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So we're not voting to do or not do this. This is a report for
How are we gonna do
educational
it?
purposes and how it's going to be done.
Just make you aware of what's going on.
And for the public to understand, as you implement this, there's a possibility of some short-term delays, but in the long run will allow us to better serve the communities going forward, in particular given that we're going to have some cost-cutting needs in the future. All right. What I'd like to do is move on with the director's report and ask, I notice Ms. Daniels is back. I wanted to ask, given that this would be for viewing public predominantly, if this could be shown during our closed session over the air. Is that our intent with the video?
I guess we could do. I need to just find out from.
Okay.
If you're interested as board members, we have copies of the video that you can take and watch, you know, when you have time also.
Let me check.
Okay. All right. Any other agenda items from the board members to be discussed today that we haven't covered?
Yes, they'll be able to do that. So when we go off the air, they'll be able to.
All right, so when we go off air from the meeting, this will be played for the viewing public, and we can all receive copies of that. Okay, Mr. Perry, from your director's report, I think you have an item.
Okay, we just have one, Office of Civil Rights, Title IV Compliance Review. This is from the state, the federal government looking at our child.
Don't we have to go into closed session?
No, we don't.
This is the director's report.
So they're looking at our compliance in child welfare and looking at people with limited English proficiency to see whether or not when we are talking to those individuals that we have someone available that can interpret for them. So we have to go through our caseload, identify the information, see whether or not we were doing everything correctly, and send our information to the state, and they will compile that information to forward to the federal government.
Okay. All right. Any other items for discussion today before we go into closed session? Okay. At this time, we have a need to go into closed session to discuss some matters that are personnel related, as well as review an agency overpayment report. If I can please have a motion to, well, actually, first, if you'll read the declaration, then we'll go into closed session.
North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 regarding closed session. Section A, permitted purposes. It's the policy of this state that closed session shall only be held when required to permit a public body to act in the public interest as permitted in section. Public body may hold a closed session and exclude the public only when a closed session is required. Also, item number 1, to prevent a disclosure of information that's privileged and confidential pursuant to the law of the state or of the United States, or not considered a public record within the meaning of Chapter 132 of the General Statutes.
All right. May I have a motion at this time to go into
So
closed
moved,
session?
Mr. Chairman.
Second? All in favor? All right. We are now in closed session.
Let me make sure we're off the air.
And Mr. Perry, I think as we're going off the air, the video would run for viewing public before we actually go off the air.
Okay. Yeah, it's playing on TV now. Yeah, this is playing for you in public now.
She stayed in for 2 years, elementary school.
it's kids out there that are my age or younger that are being abused, mistreated, and they're not bad kids. Sometimes we can be misunderstood, but we're not, off the wild kids where we'll just do anything that we feel like. Sometimes, we might get upset or depressed, and we might make wrong decisions. But I asked, not to hold it against the youth. I think it would have made a bigger difference in my life if I would have first got put into a foster home and not a group home setting, because bonding with another parent that's not of my own, I think they would have achieved me to go further, and I think I would be more successful.
When we were in a safe environment, I lived in Winterville in a house, which I never actually lived in a house before, which was also new to me. I went to a school that I actually stayed in for 2 years, elementary school. I used to move from school to school, shelter to apartment, family members. So the fact that I actually was grounded in one place for a long period of time really helped me. I have been through 6 foster homes, but I would have to say that the main one that has really supported me would be my first foster home, because when I first got there, I actually learned how to spell my name and I learned my ABCs. So she was the most encouraging person to me.
And throughout life you would see these people with children that didn't seem to appreciate them, and you're like, gosh, what if that was my child? I'd hate for that to be happening to my child. So I wanted, children to have what our children had, the love and security and stuff. We were just going to foster. We just wanted to be a bridge to help children either get back with their natural parents or hopefully find parents that would love them and treat them like we treated our children. We thought all children deserved that.
Well, we've been able to be a bridge for quite a few. Say some of them were very temporary, just passing through. Their better place was, a short run, where some of them it's taken a good while before they were reunited with family or adopted. Well, any time that we were able to be a part of the child's life and it end up in a good situation, whether it's going back to a family or to an adoptive situation, if it was a positive outcome, then it was rewarding. That's what we were there for, is for the child, to get the child over that bridge through that rough time in life.
Take that baby in from day one and rock them and love them and treat them like your own. Then they have a chance to go out, whether it's back with their family who needed some help or onto a family who's waiting for a child. It's just, to me, that makes all the difference in the world with this child.
I have actually 4 foster children in my home, 3 boys and 1 girl. I also have 3 children of my own, which is girls. So I'm surrounded by quite a bit of females in the house. But it's a great opportunity to see the whole family entwined with one another, come from different backgrounds, which I think is really awesome and a great reward for me as well. Our goal is to make sure that every child get a great opportunity to succeed and to become a great U.S. citizen. That's one of our main goals. And with the support of the community and everyone else that is involved, it really just makes my job just that much easier. I would say for those that are called to this kind of service and for those that want to give back to the community, I find that this is one of the greatest rewarding service that anyone can give, and it is community service.
If you have that much love to give, there are so many children that just need somebody to care about them. And, the opportunity to provide a safe place doesn't seem like much to those that do it because, that comes naturally to them. But there are children that need a safe place and they need somebody to love them and just tuck them in at night and let them know that everything's going to be okay. A lot of times it's just the fact that a parent can't take care of a child because of maybe a job situation or an illness that's created, financial burdens. There's so many little things that help or hinder a family, and cause them to have a need, for someone to intervene. When we first met our children that were going to come into our home as foster children, the older three were part Hispanic. And of course, I had never been around many Hispanic people to know anything about their cultures or their way of life. And I wasn't really sure how, these children were 9, 8, and 7. And I didn't know how this was going to affect, our relationship with them. But, they were just children. They had, the same needs that the 2-year-old had that, looked just like me. And I worried about how I would feel about how other people, approached them and what other people would think. And it was just amazing to me how quickly they were accepted in my heart. It didn't matter if anybody else accepted them or not. They were part of me. The opportunity to be a part of getting a family back together and helping them to be, a complete family as well as a family that was safe and okay was just, an awesome thought.
We have great support from the Department of Social Service, and that's a great thing. There's no job that's too hard or too complicated that can be solved. And as a team, we're working together with one another. And that's what actually made things much more easy, more so than much more tougher.
I've received Mother's Day cards from some of our children that have gone on to be adopted, and be a part of their life. At Christmas we may have 3 or 4 of the families there that have adopted our children, so we can still be part of their life. And then you get a letter in the mail where one of your teenagers that had gone back with her dad had gone on to get married, and she's had a baby, and she wants us, to know her baby, and it's really rewarding. I love it. I couldn't imagine not having this challenge or trying to make a difference.
I guess probably the most rewarding thing has been to watch a 9-year-old girl turn into a 19-year-old young woman. She has become very self-sufficient and very secure in who she is. And, I looked at this child when she came, and, she wouldn't look you in the eye, and she was just so bashful and shy, and she wouldn't carry on a conversation with a stranger for anything. And I've watched her grow and just become a young lady. And, I guess any parent, no matter, whether your child has a special need or if your child is an average child or if your child's a genius, every parent wants what is the very best for their child. And, with fostering children or adopting children, I think it's the same thing. You do everything you can to make what their life is going to turn out to be as good as possible. And the most rewarding thing is just seeing these little people grow up and to know that, we've created a family and they're going to be a part of our family for a long time.
To see them actually get a great opportunity for a new start in a new environment, I think that's very rewarding.
In a foster setting, with a foster parent, I will be looking for someone to push me further, to let me know that I am somebody and that I can do better, and caring, showing me that that I do have someone out here to love me for who I am, someone that I could look like, that I could look up to say, she was there. I didn't give up because I had somebody to push me forward.
I wouldn't have been as ready for the world as I am today without my foster parents.
Don't ever, ever give up on your dreams.